Hola, mi gente. Joe Berto back with you at the Credit Card Connection. I'm so glad you can join me today. Over the last couple of weeks, I've been going to different banks and different branches throughout New Jersey, trying to find out some information, or to clarify some misinformation that's out there about different credit cards, different rules, and just to see how the customer service was. Some have been great, like Bank of America, Wells, Chase. Some not so great. Capital One, we already know. But, today I figured I wanted to come out and just tell you my opinion on what I feel would be the best card. In this space, you're going to get different answers from different creators because it's going to depend on their experiences as well. And like I always tell you, I try to give you the information and the reviews on the cards that I currently have or that I've used in the past. So that's what I'm going to get into today. And if that sounds good to you, do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button, share it with your friends. I'm trying to get to 3,000 subscribers. I am 65 away from that number. So go crazy today. Bang, 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 bang. Hit that subscribe, share it with your friends so that I can get to 3,000. All right, guys? I really appreciate that. So let's jump into it. So, what's the best card? Well, for me, what I tell people is the best card is whatever works best for you. In this case, what do you need the credit card for? Is it for everyday spend? I have a list of things here. Is it for cash back? Is it for travel? Do you want to pay an annual fee for certain perks? Now we know those annual fees can go from, 95 to 695. Okay, so you got to keep that in mind. I didn't include any airline or hotel cards in this, quick recap of what I feel are the best cards because those are more specific. So let's say you live in a certain area, you might just never use United because you're not in one of their hubs, or just like I've never used Delta because I've literally never flown Delta for some reason. So I wouldn't go out and get a Delta card just to say I have a Delta card. Same with hotels, right? Some people are Marriott specific, some people like Hilton, some people like Hyatt. So I left those off the table. So let's say your team cashback. Now, this is great for people that don't travel often, that don't want to go through hoops um, to see where their points or miles are going to get the most, bang for your buck, and see how many cents per point they're going to get, and go through all these math equations and different websites and transfer out. Cashback is pretty simple, and they're easier to use, easier to track. You see the value also in cashback cards almost immediately because you'll see them post to your statement a lot quicker. Whereas if you're doing it for points and miles, you're not going to see anything until you actually use them. Like right now, literally, guys, as of today, March 3rd, I have almost 2.5 million points across all my cards. I haven't used the points yet. I'll be using them this summer, but they're just sitting there right now. And you shouldn't really let them sit there unless it's something big you're planning on doing with them. So as you're going to see, this is why cashback for some people works flawlessly. It's easier. They can kind of just do the math quickly and figure out what works and what doesn't. So here's, for me, what I feel would be great cashback cards. Now, this is just cashback across different issuers. Now, I don't have, full disclosure, I don't have some of these cards, but other creators do, other creators that I actually, you know, listen to, follow, trust, know what they're talking about. So these are the cards that they recommend also from other research I've done through either Wallet Hub, Award Wallet, The Points Guy, Nerd Wallet, you name it, whatever's out there, I've tried to find and bring you that information. Forbes. So one of the cards, actually two from the same issue, would be the City Custom or the Double Custom Cash cards. Why? Because they're pretty simple to use. You're going to get flat money cash back to you. It's easy to use. One of them, for the double cash, you'll get a percentage up front, and then when you pay the bill, you get the second percent back. So it's really easy to track, and if you're a Citibank customer, it's easy to get. So the City Custom Cash or Double Cash will be great cash cards. I do have the Discover It card as a cashback card. It has categories, as you know. Right now, the categories still for this quarter are going to be in restaurants and in Walgreens or any pharmacies, CVS, things like that. And what I like about Discover, in your first year, you're going to get double the cash back spent in your first year. So right now, instead of 5% cash back on those categories, I'm actually going to get 10% cash back in the categories for Discover. So Discover has been in my wallet, has been my go-to going out to restaurants and in CVS and in Walgreens when I make different weekly purchases. So that's a great cashback card to have in your wallet. You also then have from Chase. Now, I don't have the personal versions of these cards, I have the business versions, but that's the Chase Freedom Unlimited and the Chase Freedom Flex. The Freedom Unlimited, 1.5 cash back on everything you spend, doesn't matter. That is the simplest way to go about it, just 1.5. And then the Flex gives you the category similar to Discover, where depending on the quarter, you'll get 5% cash back. And actually, about a month or so ago, they had a special offer where they were giving more of a cash back incentive on a lot of the other categories. So for people that are Team Chase, these two cards for cash back, you can't go wrong. For American Express, it's known that the American Express Blue Cash Everyday card is a great card, especially for the multipliers for supermarkets, for streaming services, and things like that. So I have the business Blue Cash, the Blue Cash Preferred card, and it's a great card for business. But this is the personal side of that card. For Wells Fargo, we have the Wells Fargo Active Cash card. Again, 2%. You can't beat it with Wells. They offer you it's across the board, easy card to get to with pretty high limits that they start you off with. And then Capital One, I'll never know what Capital One offers because they're not giving me their cards. But Capital One, Saver One has 3% on a lot of categories, from dining to streaming services and other travel categories. So you can't go wrong with that as a steady, solid cashback card. So if you're Team Cashback, you have from the different issuers, you can see just rattling them off. You have your pick. There are hundreds of cards to pick from. What works for you is what's going to make it your best card. So I could sit here and say, okay, because I have the Discover It, it's the best one, but it may not work for you. Also, Discover isn't accepted as easily in other places as, let's say, a Visa or a MasterCard or even an American Express, right? So that's why your position and where you are and what you need it for is going to determine what's best for you. But these are just some examples of what you can do if you really are into cashback. Now, if you travel, I have 4 different issuers, one being from American Express. Now, I'm only going to pick one for travel because although American Express has multiple travel cards in their arsenal, this one is I'm trying to keep them more within the same annual fee or the lowest annual fee. So the American Express Green Card is a solid card with 3 times membership reward points on dining and on travel in particular. And the travel categories are broad. So I think this is a solid pickup at $150 a year if you're an American Express fanboy, like people think I am. This is a great card to have. On the Chase side, you have the Chase Sapphire Preferred, which is one step up over the Flex and the Unlimited. And this is the one that actually gives you the ability to move those points into the travel portal and get 1.25% as a return as opposed to just 1 point. Okay. Preferred offers, again, like Chase is known for, 3 times for dining. But in supermarkets, only online. So that's not that great. And it gives you 2 points back on travel. But it's a great travel card nonetheless. And it's accepted worldwide. I use it when I went to Europe a lot. So it's a great solid pickup for travel. Also, another card I don't have is the City Premier. However, City Premier gives you 3 times back on a lot of travel categories and dining as well. And my friend Cesar Joel swears by it. So I believe him when he tells me it's a solid pickup. So check out the City Premier. And then the Wells autograph card, my friend Matt Clausen, RJ Financial, and many other creators out there really like Wells. I'm waiting on Wells actually to get the autograph card because they do give you 3 times on a lot of different categories, but I'm waiting for them to give me transfer partners. Right now, they don't have transfer partners, whereas, you know, with Chase, you can transfer out. With the American Express, you can transfer out, and actually with Citi as well. So Wells, I'm just waiting on that part to put them into that um, higher level for me for travel category card. Now, for premium cards, there are several. And the main three banks, and one of the banks actually has two cards that I'm putting in there. A lot of people don't normally lump these two together, but I feel that you could have one or the other because one is just going to give you one access that the other one doesn't, but the other one's kind of better overall. And that's American Express Gold or the American Express Platinum. Either one of those two cards are solid for a premium card. As we all know, the American Express Platinum is the highest annual fee at $6.95. People call it the coupon book. I have the card. I like the card. Yeah, sometimes it's difficult to say, yeah, I'm going to go spend it on Equinox or whatever it is that they're trying to give you, the Walmart credit. But you do get 5 times for airline travel on any airlines that you buy the tickets for. Plus, they give you the lounge access that's really world renowned, especially in their Centurion lounges. So that's kind of what separates that from the American Express Gold, where the Gold is the better multiplier and the workhorse because you get 4 times for dining, 4 times at any supermarkets, up to $25,000 in the States. It's a solid card. But when you combine them, you're looking at $945 worth of cards for 2 cards. So I actually got rid of the gold card a month ago.
35
I
years
still
for
hold on
those.
to the platinum card, and I do get the value from the platinum card. It does give me access to, better perks at the hotels with Marriott and Hilton. It gives me the better status car rentals at Hertz, at Avis, at National, things like that. So it's a great premium travel card, and most people would say probably the most premium out of the ones that I'm going to mention. The next one would be the Chase Sapphire Prefer, the Chase Sapphire Reserve, and the Reserve is a step up from the Preferred. Some people actually say they don't see the justification of paying an additional $450 almost for a card. This card comes in at $550 a year for an annual fee. It does give you double the multipliers if you use it for the Chase portal, so 10 times on travel and things like that on purchases made through the portal. And it does multiply if you use it again, take your ultimate rewards points and use them into the portal at 1.5 cents per point, which is a great value if you want to keep it simple. But it's lacking status at hotels. It's lacking other statuses, let's say, that the American Express Platinum card offers you. So some people actually say, you know what, you're better off keeping the preferred. But again, Chase Sapphire Reserve has its own perks in terms of priority pass, where they give you priority pass restaurants at certain airports. It has their own set of lounges, which are supposed to be really nice. And there's some now that opened up in New York. So it's a great card, and their travel protections are unmatched. They're actually, in my opinion, would be even better than the American Express for Chase. So this is a solid premium card pickup if that's what you're really looking for. The next one is going to be, and this is a thorn in my side, the Capital One Venture X. Now, the Capital One Venture X is Capital One's premium card. It's the one that most people say it's the better premium card because it comes in at $395 a year. And what people call their effective annual fee can be just $5 net positive because they give you $300 that you could use in their portal and another $100 every anniversary year to use. I don't like dealing with effective fees because you're still prepaying for stuff, guys. So if you prepay and then you don't use it, guess what? You still paid the fee. So that doesn't fly with me. I know other people go by that. Personally, for me, I'm still paying close to $400 on a card, right? The good thing about the Capital One Venture X is that it gives you 2 times on everything as a multiplier. So it's a solid card, almost as a catch-all at 2 points per dollar that you're going to spend, right? So it's a solid pickup. I don't have, like I said, any Capital One cards or anything like that yet. But if I was going to get a Capital One card, that would be the one that I want to get. So you see, I rattled off maybe 12 cards here in total. And there are many other cards. You have Bank of America that has their cards, their rewards cards, and I didn't put them in here because they're better for when you have a relationship with Bank of America where they're going to increase the multipliers on their cards. Let's say from 3% to 3.5% or 3.75% or even more, depending on how much money you have with them in your accounts. So that's why I really didn't include Bank of America in here in this. I didn't include US Bank because it's a little bit more difficult to get for some people and it's not as widely used. Um, and I wanted to stick with the cards that people basically have more access to, especially if they're starting off in this space. So as you can see, which is the best card for you? I'm going to go back to what I said at the beginning. The best card for you is the best card that fits your needs at that particular time and that you're able to actually use for what it's intended. Don't just get a card to say, I got the platinum card, and you're only going to get one times for whatever you spend, unless it's an airline, and you don't travel. What's the point, right? I also didn't include the built card because built, even though you can technically use a built card, even if you don't pay rent, but their main thing is that you can get your rent paid and they cover the fees if you use it to pay your rent, and you get a hell of a lot of points for that. So again, there's certain cards I didn't include because they're more specific, but the best card, mi gente, is whatever card works best for you. Don't ever be afraid of changing it, either product changing it up to a higher card or down if it doesn't suit your needs anymore. So if you have the preferred and you want to start traveling, consider product changing up to the reserve. Okay, if you have the reserve and you're not traveling as much, consider product changing down to the preferred. So you can do that with many of these cards, and that's something that I would suggest that you do. If you see something that doesn't work for you, don't use it just for the sake of using it. Okay. The other thing is, if you don't pay an annual fee on a card, even if you don't use it, don't cut it up because you're going to lose credit history. And I'd rather you keep that credit history, as we call it, throw it in a sock drawer, keep it there. This way, your credit history just continues. You're not paying an annual fee for it anyway. Every once in a while, throw something on it just to keep it active and keep it moving. So, mi gente, I know this was a short video. It was just a quick wrap up on a question that I always often get asked, which is the best card? And again, the best card is what's best for you. Until next time, thank you for watching as always. And more than anything else, thank you for giving me the pleasure of your time. Until next time.